you have ever actually gone live on a Facebook page before, but it counts down and it goes 3, 2, 1, and it goes bang, bang, bang as you're doing it. And so Stacey and I were just like, nah, as it was happening.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm also a little bit worried about this light.
Why? Do you want it on us?
I feel
as
though,
that's actually good.
Yeah, I feel as though behind us it was probably a little bit too dark. But
yeah, that works. Is that going to swing back around though?
Probably. Knock me out.
Is that going to stay there? So we weren't going to do all of our podcasting live today, but we just really enjoy it because it's lovely having people pop in and ask us questions and things. We are leaning dangerously close to everyone's
Dinner
out
time.
On a Saturday night and it's dinner time, but then you know what? We're losers and we're recording podcasts on a Saturday night. So there has to be people at home right now who want to talk about Friends. And that's the episode we're going to be recording now. Do you want to hit record, Stace?
I sure do.
We'll jump straight into it.
You can also even leave us a message after this, even if we're not live, because we'll still see it.
Yeah.
All right,
it's recording?
Mm-hmm.
Hi, I'm Carly.
And I'm Stacey.
And you're listening to Sweet Teen Club,
the podcast for all of us who can't leave the 90s behind.
So this episode is going to be about the TV show Friends. And this is going to be a very interesting episode because Stacey's seen half an episode of Friends.
It just wasn't my bag. And you know why? Because I was talking to someone about this the other day and I'm like, have you ever seen Friends? And she's like, girl.
Like everyone's seen Friends.
It is my favorite.
It's totally my favorite. I've seen every single episode.
She's like,
easily twice.
It's not your thing. And I don't know if, you know, how many of you have listened to earlier episodes of the podcast, but from 1996 to about 1999, I had a not so nice boyfriend, and he
was kind of the boss of her.
Yeah, he was thumbs down.
Not a good dude.
Double thumbs down. And he actually hocked our television set to buy drugs. And I didn't get to watch a lot of TV in those late 90s years.
That is the most tragic story I've ever heard.
What, that I lost my TV?
And that you couldn't watch Friends because your boyfriend sold your TV for drugs. That's just Devo.
Well, that was horrible. That was the least of my worries at the time. But yes, no, I didn't have a TV for a lot of those years. So I didn't get to watch Friends. And by the time I broke up with him, I feel as though, like, by 2000, if you weren't into Friends, you weren't going to get into Friends.
Well, also, that's just heartbreaking to me because I literally organised my life around watching Friends. It was on Mondays at 7:30.
Oh, wow.
And my whole week was just planned around it. And I was a theatre kid, so if I was doing a show, they'd be like, are you available for rehearsals on Monday?
No,
and I'd
Friends
say
is on.
no. I'd say no. I'd be like,
Shout out to my brother-in-law, Helmet, who wouldn't go to the local shopping centre on a Thursday night because Dawson's Creek was on.
Ah, love it. Love it. How funny, like when we used to organise our lives around TV.
Yeah. Well,
you can just record it now and you don't even have to worry.
Or you can watch it on, you know.
Yeah, watch it on the live feed.
Later DVD.
So
yeah, I never watched Friends.
We're live streaming this from the...
How long did Friends go for? How many years?
It was like 10. There were 10 seasons.
See, I watched all of Seinfeld. I couldn't get myself... When did Friends start?
Oh, I didn't get that information. Cause
it would have been like mid to late 90s, so yeah.
Yeah. It would have been, I think it started maybe when I was in year 7, so it would have been like 96 or something. So I've actually got, I have lots of friends and relatives who are very into the TV show Friends, and I did a shout out on Facebook and tagged a few people that asked me some questions about it. There's a fabulous lady who I'm friends with on the internet. Her name is Megan Harding. Sorry, I think it's Harding. I've never said her name out loud, and now I've said it wrong.
I was like, maybe it's Cerulean.
Twice. That's so embarrassing. I really should have looked that up properly, but she's a darling. And she came to a trivia night that I did a few years ago where I was raising money for a special needs school that I used to work at, and she absolutely wiped the floor with everyone. She's like next level Friends weirdo. So I've got a few questions. I asked what we should cover in this podcast, and there's some excellent stuff that you probably haven't even considered. So I'm going to be running most of this because Stacey hasn't seen Friends and I worship Friends. I even won a competition in a Dolly magazine.
Oh, wow.
So you had to write, I wiped the floor with those. So there would be a little thing where they'd say, you know, in 25 words or less, tell us which Friends character you're most like, and then you'd win a prize.
Chandler.
No, I wrote Phoebe.
No, I'm Chandler.
I wrote Phoebe. I was like, I'm most like Phoebe because... I don't know, I'm a bit of a hippie and no. Like
I've had triplets.
I just legit didn't know myself back then. I'm nothing like Phoebe. I'm like Monica.
Well, you are a good cook. I'll give you that.
I'm also very organised and I'm a bit of a pain in the ass, so definitely not like Rachel. But anyway, so I wrote like I was like Phoebe, and I won the complete first series on VHS.
Oh, look at you.
Which was incredible, and I also won a really ugly pair of swimmers and some lip gloss and a mug.
It's very nice.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was like the best thing ever. It was
back when you were a kid. That would have been the best.
I was like 13. It was the greatest thing ever. So yeah, Friends was a huge part of my life. I knew everything about all of the characters. The premise of Friends, in case you haven't seen it, Stacey, it's 3 young men and 3 young women, and they're best mates, and they live in the same apartment complex or close to the same apartment complex, and it's basically just their whole lives kind of intertwining and weird things happening and all that jazz. I'm not going to go into a lot of individual things because it's too complicated. There's 10 seasons. There's not, and we're going to assume that people who are who are listening have watched it. We've got a comment from Cassie. I'm watching
Cassie, hello.
I'm watching Friends from the beginning at the moment, only up to season 2. I was too young to watch it when it was first on TV, and now I'm older than the characters.
Yeah, that kind of blew my mind. I'm like, they always seemed adult and very grown up, and now that's me.
Yeah, like in one of the seasons where one of the episodes, Monica is dating young Ethan, as they call him, because he's younger than her. And she lied about her age and said that she was 22 when really she was 25.
Oh.
And that was really old. 25 was
25
old.
seemed really
out
old.
of control.
I thought I would be
Tracy
like
has just said,
with
started
kids
season 1 again last night, loving it. Cassie... or anyone who's listening, if you're watching it for the first time as an adult, how are you finding it? Because I think I love hearing that kind of stuff. Because I watched Dawson's Creek properly as an adult.
I started watching it when it first came out, so I was late teens.
I finished Dawson's Creek as an adult.
I watched the whole thing start to finish as an adult, mid-20s maybe?
Yeah, I'd love to see how it holds up because I know every single line from it. And yeah, Tracy, if you're watching it again for like the second or third time, it's magical. And the first season's great. I love the first season.
My husband hates Friends. Absolutely loathes.
Get out of my house.
Yeah, I know. And he also felt the same way about Everybody Loves Raymond. And I'm like...
I didn't love Everyone Loves Raymond.
I didn't mind it. It was mindless watching. But he was like, so what are you doing your podcast on? And I'm like, Friends. And he's like, oh,
it needs to be said though. Like it was such a huge part of 90s culture. And for me, it was also the first thing that really brought my friends and I really close together because everyone would watch it on a Monday. Yeah. You'd come to school on a Tuesday. You'd talk about what happened. I mean, we're going to cover Ross and Rachel's breakup. Don't worry about that. That's definitely happening. But it like just huge things like that.
Well, I was actually watching a little bit of an episode this morning. I didn't really watch all of it, but I watched the pertinent parts of it. And he walked in and he's like...
Sorry, we just got an amazing comment from Stacey saying, to this day, I cannot move a piece of furniture without yelling, pivot, pivot, pivot.
That's completely over my head.
Susie has no idea what we're talking about. It's amazing. It's just this scene where
I think I can gather it.
Ross and Chandler are trying to move a couch up a set of stairs,
which is horrible.
It's awful. And Ross is basically telling Chandler to pivot, and as he keeps saying pivot, his voice gets more and more aggressive.
More annoyed.
And then Chandler replies with, "Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!"
Well, actually, when my husband walked
Cassie's in today... just said pivot is my favourite too.
When my husband walked in today and I had it on and I was brushing my hair and he just went, "Oh, this is terrible." He's like, I don't know how you're watching this. And I'm like, well, I've never actually sat through, an entire episode. It's probably been on TV. I do vaguely remember when Ross gets married to the other chick and he
says Rachel.
Says Rachel.
That's huge.
And then when Rachel... when Chandler and Monica are in bed together.
Yes.
So I remember that, like I was probably channel surfing or whatever. And then like he goes over it, like my husband goes over and plugs in his phone. He's like, "Have you even sniggered yet or what? Like how many of these have we watched?" And I'm like, honestly, the only person that's made me come close to like going, is Chandler.
I love Chandler. Well, that's actually a question that comes up later on. One of my, it's Sarah Kempson. She is a lovely girl who is also a blogger. She's brilliant, and she co-hosted the Friends Trivia Night that we did last year. Mm-hmm. And her question to everyone is, is Chandler everyone's favourite character? And I said no,
Well,
because
see, I
Phoebe's
think
my
that-
favourite.
Yeah, I thought Phoebe was probably going to be quite popular amongst the viewers. And I also thought that everyone was really into Rachel's hair.
If you are, Rachel's hair was huge.
I didn't like the first Rachel's hair, but the like season 2, I think, you know, when they break up and stuff, her hair was magnificent. It was, like, absolutely beautiful. I would have killed for hair like that.
Yeah, and her later hair has held up. Her earlier hair is just comical. Like, if you look
It's
at
just like when it had like
the
really...
Rachel with
the Rachel is very bad.
It's so funny. And I love it when I see girls with Rachels. I'm just like that.
I don't
Oh my
often
God.
see
I say, okay, so Chrissy, who I do Little Blog Big with and who is from Hair Romance.
She does not have Rachel hair.
She had a Rachel.
Back in the day?
Back in the day, she had a Rachel. It's the best thing that's ever happened.
Oh,
I
that's
will,
amazing.
if you...
Did she straighten the bejesus out of her hair?
Oh, her hair's
like blow dry?
Her hair is like putty. It just does whatever you want it to do.
Her hair is
So that's
beautiful.
Christina at Hair Romance. Just tweet her. She loves it when she gets mentioned on other people's podcasts. So if you're listening, please tweet Hair Romance and ask her to show you a picture of her Rachel haircut, because it is the funniest shit in the
I'm
world.
going to do that as soon as we get off here, because I really want to see that.
So I wrote about a few episodes that I really loved, which...
These are the only ones that I've looked at. It's because Carly said that I had to.
So the one where Ross and Rachel broke up, we need to cover that one.
I got misty-eyed, I have to admit.
So, like, at the end where he's just like,
On
this,
his
this
knees.
can't be it. And
Yeah.
she was just like,
Like,
then how come it is? Oh my God.
I loved that. Like, I wish that I'd had strong female role models like that. That just went, you know what? You did the wrong thing.
He did.
I don't need you.
Well,
I love you, but I'm not standing for that.
Well,
I
this-
did not have a lot of women in my life that would have said that.
yeah, no. Yeah, that's true, because you were raised in a
Very different situation.
yeah, an environment where it was kind of like having a man was a good thing, yeah?
Any kind of man.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if they treated you like shit. It's better than nothing. And yeah, and right at the point, you know, with my abusive boyfriend that hocked my TV.
So she
which
couldn't
is why I
watch
can't watch
Friends.
Friends.
What a bastard.
It would have been
Sorry.
amazing for me to see someone say, I love you, but that's not enough.
Yeah.
You're not treating me right. This isn't making any of us happy. You've done the wrong thing. I've got the strength to walk away.
Yeah.
That would have been phenomenal for me. But yeah, no, my TV was in the hock shop, so I didn't know. I mean, I had a fair idea, but knowing that you should leave and being able to actually leave are two completely different things.
Oh, absolutely. And that's this is another thing that Sarah brought up in a question she wanted me to ask our listeners. Were Ross and Rachel on a break? And this is a huge controversial question.
Well, he says that they were. And he thought that she was in bed with someone else.
Yeah, but he did not get that confirmed. He did not know that for a fact.
I didn't watch the episode prior, so.
He did not know that for a fact. And also, I think that it doesn't, the fact, whether or not they were on a break isn't the point. If they weren't on a break, it was an asshole thing to do. If they were, sleeping with someone 5 minutes after you've broken up with someone is still an asshole thing to do. So
yeah,
either
I'm all
way,
about the rebound, but that might have been a
Yeah.
little bit of a too close to the actual breakup time.
yeah,
rebound.
either way, Ross is an asshole. That was not a good move for
Either
anyone.
way, he's made a mistake. But, you know, in the morning when he wakes up and he's like, shit, I fucked up. And then he gets the message, the voicemail message.
so
and she's like, I'll be there at
bad.
8:30. And he's like,
And the girl's still there. It's such a horrific episode.
Yeah.
And then just that whole breakup with everyone stuck in the bedroom and listening to it, and it just being heartbreaking because you just know how much Ross wanted to be with Rachel and how badly he fucked up.
Yeah.
And just and how sad Rachel is that he fucked up. I think that's the real catalyst for all the feels that had me re-watching that episode and crying myself to sleep over it.
Yeah, I did. Well, knowing, you know, as minimal information as I do, that still made me a little bit tear up. Like, I wouldn't say.
But so many good lines in that episode as well. Like when he said, you know, it was a mistake. And she's like, what were you trying to put it in? Her purse?
And that was pretty good. And when she's ordering the pizza, and he's like, no anchovies. She's like,
extra anchovies. And he's like, I'll just pick them off. And she's like, can you just chop some up and put them right there in the sauce?
Yeah.
That was amazing. We also need to pay homage.
And then Joey's like, get olives.
Put olives on the pizza.
From the other room.
We also need to pay homage to the chick and the duck.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of that, but I did have to laugh because it did sound like a mum and a dad arguing over a new baby, and the mum's stuck at home with the kid and the dad's still like carrying on like life's just the same.
Yeah. And it's like, you think what I do isn't work.
Yes. He's like, I've worked too.
It's so good. Also, another favourite episode is when Phoebe has her babies. Because she's pregnant, and she's pregnant with her brother's babies. She's carrying them, and she has triplets. And they call the babies Chandler, and that's a girl.
Yeah.
And Frank Jr. Jr.
Mm-hmm. And one in the middle that I can't remember.
Oh, God. I will remember it. Oh my God, I'm the worst Friends fan ever.
I only ever remember the episode where Rachel has a baby.
Yes.
And she's remembering about her slippers and she cries.
Yes. Also
that Joey doesn't share food, because I still say that.
Leslie! Jasmine just wrote, Leslie, thank you.
Oh, the baby?
The other baby. Thank you so much. Oh my God, this is why live is so good, because we forget that we have shithouse memories, both of us. Awesome. And then someone will like tweet us,
tell us
and say, I was shouting, Matthew Lillard.
What about the shirt underneath the dress? You're like, I'm getting there. Just wait, I'm getting there.
Yeah, and so, this is actually my cousin asked this question, my lovely cousin Alice. We're both Friends fans from way back, and Harry Potter fans as well, so we tag each other a lot on the social media and those two things. And she said that her main question for this podcast was, where the fuck was Emma?
Where was Emma?
Where was Emma?
Well, I didn't see Emma a lot. If she wasn't stealing Joey's food, we didn't get to see her do that.
Rachel had Emma, and then there was kind of the newborn phase of Emma where she was around for a few episodes and they kind of struggled with having a baby, and then she just like disappeared. She just tapped the fuck out of there.
Or something.
Yeah, she had a nanny, and it was Melissa George.
Oh, really?
But she was really hot, and that made her uncomfortable.
George has always been really hot.
And they also had a nanny, which was
Britney Spears.
It was Freddie. It was Freddie Prinze Jr.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah. I don't remember watching it, but I remember it being mentioned.
Yeah, and he was lovely. He was very cute, and he did these like little puppet shows.
Aww.
He was really cute, and Joey was in love with him. It was very, very cute. They had to get rid of him because Ross was uncomfortable with having a nanny. Because Ross is strange.
I don't think Ross gets to call the shots.
No, well, it turns out...
he can't wear a fucking pair of leather pants. I can't trust him.
Oh, that's actually another one of my favourite. That's the one here. So one of my favourite episodes was the one with all the resolutions, where they all make resolutions to do things. And one of Ross's is that he's going to do something different and do things that are unexpected. And so he wanted to wear a pair of leather pants, because he wanted some when he was a kid, because he thought they were like a cowboy, and he goes on a date with this girl while he's wearing these leather pants.
Leather pants are really loud.
And really hot.
Anyone
as well.
ever wanted to wear them.
So he starts burning up, and he's on the couch with this girl, and he has to go to the bathroom, and he takes his pants off, and he's fanning himself because he's basically
sweaty.
like wearing a plastic bag. And then he can't get his pants back on because he's all sweaty and bloated. So he calls Joey and asks for advice.
With like a little
aerial. And then he calls Joey and asks for advice, and Joey's just like, do you have any lotion or like powder?
He's like, do you have like talcum powder? He's like, yeah.
Yeah, and he puts the talcum powder on, he's trying to get the pants on. He's like, it's still not working. And then he said, try some lotion. So he puts lotion on, and it still doesn't work. And then Joey's just like, he's like, it's made of paste. And Joey said, what color is the paste? And then Ross is like, what does that matter? And he says, well, if it's the same color as the pants, you make yourself a pair of paste pants and you're good to go.
Who would put on talcum powder and lotion and have it be black?
But I think Ross's paste pants are just still one of my most favourite things about the entire series. Another of my favourite episodes, and sorry, I feel like this is the most boring thing in the world for Stacey right now because I'm like, Friends! But this is how I felt with the music one. I was like, oh, I know a little bit about that thing.
Yeah, like for the first half, you're like, yep.
Literally.
Wait, here I am.
Yeah. It's just like, oh, sorry, you said Len's still my sunshine. Now I'm there.
And that's when I've lost interest.
So another one of my favorites is the one where everyone finds out about Chandler and Monica. So
I love how everybody finds out individually.
Yeah.
It was always meant to be that they would find out.
I think my favourite was when Phoebe sees them making out in the apartment across the street. And she's like, my eyes! It was very, very cute. Because it was like, you know, she was repeating the way that Chandler says, my eyes!
We've got a comment. Like an inside joke? I didn't get it.
My favourite scene is Joey using the thesaurus on his reference letter for Monica and Chandler, and he signs it baby kangaroo Triviani. Joey Triviani.
Oh, alright, I get it.
Yeah, that was great. Baby kangaroo Triviani.
He really was.
Oh my god, that's so good.
Hey,
I'm so glad we're doing this live as well,
yeah,
because this is like the fun thing. We should actually start telling people when we're doing it so our listeners who aren't on our Facebooks can come along and make that happen.
Sure.
So yeah, that was great. Oh, hang on. Oh, and Candace just said, sup with the PlayStation sup. So, sorry, Stacey's just totally blanking out here. So that was when Joey was trying to act really young, and he's like, sup. That's whack.
Oh.
And then he's like, sup with the whack PlayStation sup. It's really good. And he's wearing those like daggy pants. It's fabulous.
Yeah.
Oh, the live streaming is so good. I love it. Also another one. This goes way back to the beginning. The one where no one is ready. And the reason why they did this one was where they were going to a award ceremony that Ross was being given some sort of
museum benefit night.
Yeah, and everyone was
and Rachel's not going.
Yeah, she decides she's not going because he offends her in some way. I can't remember.
He humiliated her in front of her friends. I just watched this morning.
Oh, okay. I haven't watched it in years. But then I just loved that Ross was going to drink the glass of fat.
It kind of annoyed me because they were like, we'll drink the fat and she'll go and she'll know that you really love her. And he picks it up and Phoebe's like, I'll get you another glass that's been there all day.
He's like, I think it's going to be fine.
It's going to be fucking horrible. Vanilla milkshake with a bit of chickeny things floating in it.
Oh, it was so foul.
And then he like picks it up and he goes to drink it and Rachel's like, stop. And I'm like, I would have let him drink that. And she's like, you were going to drink the fat.
I loved it. I thought it was beautiful. I loved that whole episode. But I read about that episode, and apparently the reason why they did it where everyone was in the apartment was because the show was still new and they didn't have the budget to film outside of the apartment.
So they couldn't leave to have a benefit gala.
Yeah, so they filmed the whole thing inside there, which I thought was very, very cool. I've also got some trivia. So the show was originally called Insomnia Cafe, and then it was renamed Friends Like Us, and then 6 of 1 before it became Friends.
Do you know what it did for me, though? It's because I didn't have a lot of friends during high school, and obviously during the lost years, 96 to 99, when I didn't have a TV or any friends or a life. When I watched it later, I was like, I would kill for that kind of like friendship dynamic.
Yeah.
Like, just to have roommates that you know, that had your back or were interested in your life, or, you know, even somebody that lived across the hall that was familiar with you. Like,
and you could just like walk over and just like grab some milk from their fridge.
Didn't have a friend like that at all. And yeah, I thought like Friends, it was like, I never watched it when it was popular, although I did win a radio competition they played like a snippet of a song. Yeah, and it was the Friends theme song.
Nice.
And I won like a Alanis Morissette CD or something.
Oh, we've got Wook on board. Hi, Kate.
Hello. How are you? I hope everybody's all good there down in Sydney. Yeah, so I didn't have a lot of friends. So by the time I actually watched Friends, it was like too sad because everyone was like...
Kate just wrote, so lucky that you are both such good friends to me. Lots of love. That's so sweet.
Oh, you're a good egg, Mrs. Wu.
We've also got Emily Hawker. She's a darling, guys. You need to follow Emily Hawker. She is a crack up and her Facebook page is hilarious. She always updates with street signs and menus and stuff where they've made grammatical errors. It's an absolute crack up. And she said favourite episode is the one with the embryos. What is Chandler Bing's job? It's so true. He's a transponster. Look at Stacey, she's got no idea what I'm talking about because no one
Cumulatively, like if you counted it, I have watched about 42 minutes of Friends in my life.
But there's a whole running joke that no one knows what Chandler does for a job. And there's a trivia thing, and Rachel says he's a transponster. And then Monica turns around, she's like, that's not even a word.
That's not a word.
Yeah. And we've also got Lou. Oh, we've got Lou. Lou equals original hashtag squad goals. Abso-fucking-lutely. Like, just
I actually remember watching an Oprah episode, and it was about friendship, and there were like people who would get together like every month, and they would all wear red, and they would wear like red cowboy boots, and they would go like on a bike ride, and they were like, you know, our sisterhood is strong, and I can depend on these ladies, and I'm like crying into my diary. So by the time like Friends had its heyday, and then by the 2000s when it would come up on my TV show, I was like, I can't relate to this. I'm not early 20s. This is my friendship group. I just don't have that. So I guess it just never really appealed.
Well, I had a similar thing growing up. Like, my mum doesn't like visitors at all. So if the doorbell rang, we were one of those families where we hide and just be like, let's pretend like we're not here and hopefully they'll go away. And my cousin that I mentioned earlier, Alice, her mum is the opposite. So they have this real open door policy. Yeah. I could show up to Janice's house tomorrow. This is my auntie who I love. Yeah. I could show up to her house tomorrow and live there for 2 years and I would be perfectly welcome. My mum... Like, I tried to stay at their house when they were trying to sell their house. Mum was like, oh, could you stay somewhere else? Like, my mum is so funny about having people in her house. So I never had that either. Like, people just coming into the house and leaving and never knowing when people were coming and going. And I quite liked that as well. I really would have liked to have had that kind of open door policy. As if you'd leave your doors open in New York, by the way. You just wouldn't.
Well, having said that, there was a person that I was friends with when I was early teens.
Oh, hang on. Sorry, we've got a comment. What would you say the TV show's jump the shark moment was? What's a jump the shark moment? Do we know what that is? Can you tell us what a jump the shark moment is? Is that like it lost the plot, or we'll come back to that? I'm interested.
So in my early teens,
Kate says sing Smelly Cat.
What are they feeding you?
Smelly cat, it's not your fault. That was the pop version, guys. That I just did.
Need to sing again.
For you, Kate.
So, yeah, I had a friend whose mum had an open door policy, and I was so used to just, because I lived in the next street, riding my bike over, like throwing my bike into her yard and just walking into her house and seeing what was going on. And then I moved away, and I moved to a small town in New South Wales, and I had a friend, and we went to the park, and she went into the bushes with her boyfriend, and I was just sitting in the park for like 2 hours going, I'm not having any fun anymore. Oh. So I had to go back to her house and get my bag and then go home. And I was so used to just walking into my friends' houses as you do. And I like barged in there, opened the front door, went straight upstairs. There was no one there. Went upstairs, got my bag, and her stepdad came running in, and he's like, where the fuck is Beep? And I'm like, she's at the park. He's like, no, the fuck she isn't her. And because she was in the bush with her boyfriend, like when he drove past, he couldn't see. He's like, I don't know who the fuck you think you are, just barging in here like you own the joint. And I'm like, I literally didn't think of that. I'm just so used to walking into my friend's house, and I'm really sorry. I'm gonna go now. And I was like, yeah, like 13.
Oh, okay. So we've got Louise back. She said, a jump the shark moment is when a show tries to throw a big plot change to keep it alive. Monica and Chandler. Easily the jump the shark moment. That has to be
trying to keep it relevant.
Yeah. No. Trying to keep the show alive. So I think like when something very... Oh, and also Joey and Rachel hooking up, I think was another jump the shark moment.
What?
Yeah, Joey and Rachel hooked up for a while. Really late in the piece.
That must have been
Lou, we'd love to hear from you what you think the biggest jump the shark moment. And anyone who's watching the live stream of this, or anyone who's listening on the podcast, and please tweet us what you think the biggest jump the shark moment was. I'm going with Monica and Chandler hooking up, Joey and Rachel hooking up. I think, yeah, those are my big ones. We'll head back to some more trivia. So in 1997, the cast banded together to negotiate a salary increase to $100,000 per episode. And it was the first time in TV history that cast members had banded together to do this and to do it equally. And no one would accept more pay than anyone else. And they did that as a team, which is just so freaking lovely.
Yeah.
And you see them, I see paparazzi pictures of them catching up all the time. It's just, it's beautiful. I love them so much. And I think they all really respect each other and really love each other. And it just makes my heart sing. We've got Emma, ew, Joey and Rachel. I know.
I know how I felt when I just heard about it just now.
It didn't work. And they knew it wasn't working. It lasted for a couple of episodes. And then they were like, and Joey's like, I'm so in love with Rachel. And we're going, oh, no. This show, and I do think 10 seasons was too much.
Too many.
Way too many. So Courtney Cox is actually older than David Schwimmer, despite playing his younger sister. Also, Monica's apartment changed from number 5 to number 20 when the show's writers realised that number 5 wouldn't denote an apartment on an upper level in a large block, so they had to change it to 20, and the boys' apartment changed from 4 to 19.
Doesn't make any sense.
No, because they were 4 and 5, but then they said where their balcony was way too high, so they had to change the numbers of the apartments to denote a higher...
You could still be number 5 on the 25th floor. That doesn't fly with me. Next.
Yeah, okay. Maybe in New York it's different.
Maybe.
So Emma said, was it just to keep Ross and Rachel apart? Probably. I do think the Joey and Rachel storyline, Stacey's just like, I got nothing. I do think that the Joey and Rachel storyline was
Wait
to
till
keep
we
them
get to
apart.
the Kevin Smith episodes.
So we've got, apparently... Ross sang Rachel's name during his wedding vows with Emily in London.
That was a big thing. I do remember that.
Yeah, that was huge. Hang on, we've got just a second.
At the end of season 4, cliffhanger was a giant neon light indicator that this is must-see TV show.
Oh, cool. And
they must have promoted that up the wazoo.
Oh, Lord, yeah. Yeah, that was huge. Like, him saying Rachel was freaking massive. I loved it. Jasmine said, who is your favourite guest star on the show? I think mine was Julia Roberts, being Chandler's old classmate. That was great. So Julia Roberts played a classmate of Chandler's, and Chandler dacked her in class, and then she's all hot and gorgeous and makes friends with him as an adult and then leaves him naked in a bathroom, which is actually brilliant. I really love Alec Baldwin's cameo. Mm-hmm. He played one of Phoebe's boyfriends. I also really enjoyed Winona Ryder's cameo as well. She plays a college friend of Rachel's, and she's in love with Rachel, and they kissed, and it's Rachel's big wild lesbian thing that she did, and the Winona Ryder character is pretending like it didn't happen, and then gets really drunk and is like, no, it did happen, and it was the most magical night of my life. So it's actually a really good episode. I love it.
Emma says Bruce Willis is pretty hysterical. I'm a big fan of Bruce Willis. The
Bruce Willis cameo was incredible.
In Friends.
Yeah, he actually lost a bet. So the reason why Bruce Willis was in the show was because he was in The Whole 9 Yards with Matthew Perry.
Chandler, yeah.
And
there was 2 movies.
Matthew Perry said that if their movie didn't reach a certain amount of money on the opening weekend, Bruce Willis had to do a cameo, and he played a love interest of Rachel and was hysterical. He was absolutely fantastic.
Speaking of hysterical cameos, have you watched Life's Too Short, the Ricky Gervais show? And when Liam
Warwick something?
And when Liam Neeson comes in and he's like, I want to do stand-up comedy.
Yeah, Liam Neeson is incredible.
Like, I'm dying of AIDS.
Like, one of my biggest fears in life is dying and Liam Neeson not being there to stroke my hair when it happens.
I feel as though he would be so comforting.
I know. That's what I need in my life.
I need Ricky Gervais in my life.
Yeah, oh my God, guys, we have the best news ever. We were, our podcast was right next to Ricky Gervais's podcast.
Yes.
On, iTunes. It was like right next to it. So we've got a screenshot of our podcast next to Ricky Gervais's podcast, which is the most exciting thing ever. We're so excited.
Ricky Gervais' podcast was probably the first podcast I ever got into in my life, and he is my personal Jesus.
And we outranked him by 1, which is so exciting. So we've got my favorite would have been Brad Pitt, the cameo as the Rachel hating housemate. They have the We Hate Rachel Club.
Oh.
Yeah, so Brad Pitt was
There
on
would have
it.
been
It
an
was-
I Hate Sexy
yeah.
Club back in the day.
It was amazing. Yeah, so Brad Pitt was a good one. And yeah, so Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston were married at the time when Brad Pitt was on the show. We might just pause this quickly. Do we need to sort out your...
Do you have...
Sorry, guys.
that can
We're
plug in?
still going to be chatting
Is that not
live.
gonna work? No,
It's
not gonna
different.
work.
We just
Look
need...
at your fancy new computer. I
we
can't
just
believe
need to
it.
sort Stacey out with some...
I'm running out of battery. But I do remember that when Rachel O'Neill called her, what's her name? Jennifer Aniston, and Brad Pitt got married, she actually said in her vows that she would make him his favourite banana milkshake whenever he wanted. And I'm like, girl, why did I not think of something to put into my vows? That meant somebody was going to feed me something every day that I wanted.
Is that going to work? I can't get it any closer because it's attached.
Yeah, no, that's a good one.
Sorry, guys. We're just...
I'm not that
sorting
into
out.
banana milkshakes, but like, what if I was to say...
Can you pay attention to when all this happens so we can cut it out of the proper podcast?
We're alright. We haven't done much. I could say, you could bring me cheese
Sugar.
every day when I
Can
would
you
like
move
it.
that over?
No. The best that I can do.
Sorry, guys, because we're just doing our weird
We're
thing.
awesome at technology.
Yes, we are
You didn't get
practically.
wine when you got up.
We don't have any more wine. We ran out of wine.
I'll just...
No, I've got
I'll
more.
just
I can
drink
get that other bottle of the Cardi. You want some more Cardi?
Bacardi?
No, Cardi. A Chardonnay.
Chardonnay.
A nice Chardonnay.
We'll have a nice
and yes,
Chardonnay.
Lou, we are practically best friends with Ricky. We're very, very excited about it. We'll just have to make sure we cut all this bit out of the actual podcast.
So, yeah. I actually saw a picture the other day of Brad Pitt and he was like super mega young and he had like one of those little yellow caps on with the brim pushed right up.
Sugar, sorry guys.
She's good at this. So the brim was pushed right up and he was like super early 90s Brad Pitt. And I'm like, you know what? He's still banging.
He was super hot.
I'm still all about Brad Pitt in all of his guys. I don't think...
I also
you know
love
how,
the bit where because he used to be really fat in the show in Friends. And
Oh,
then he got
really?
thin.
Maybe that's like when people say when you get married you put on weight. It didn't work for me, but...
Well, Monica was a part of the I Hate Rachel Club as well.
Really?
Yeah.
What was she thinking?
Well, because she kind of hated Rachel a little bit.
Was it her hair?
A little bit.
Well, as long as she wasn't called a pig in her home economics class.
Okay. All right. We're all good, guys. Soz about that. I'm back. Just filling up the wine. Oh, we just got, from Emily Spunks. Hi.
Oh, hello.
Um,
Emily Toxford from Have a Laugh on Me has got her own podcast these days.
She does.
You really need to hook that up and listen.
Can you just pay attention to what time it is on there just so they can cut out all that crap in between? Because that's not going to be fun for people listening. Admit it.
You going to get me my wine?
Admit it. It's not going to be funny.
It's not as funny as when we watched, what was that movie where we lost our complete shit?
Oh my god. What was
I keep
that?
saying Empire Records, but it wasn't that episode. It was Reality Bites. And Carly kept trying to say when he puts his hands on Winona Ryder's face and she couldn't get the words out. And I'm like...
That was really funny.
No, that was
Lou just said, pour me a glass too, please. Cheers, darling.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So, Emma says, nah, it was Ross.
We're not sure what ooh, that's definitely a Cardi.
Oh, yeah, because we were drinking something else. We were having a Pinot before.
Yeah, we're
sparkling.
going all over the shop. We're actually not adverse to having alcohol sponsors for the show. So if anyone wants to sponsor our drinking for the show, please hook us up.
We're all about it.
So moving back on to all the Friends stuff. So, Courtney Cox is actually older than David Schwimmer, despite playing her younger.
I wonder what the age gap is.
It's not that huge, I don't think.
No. Because I do remember thinking that David Schwimmer, I kind of put him in the same level as Seinfeld, like really not my
sorry,
type.
Emma has just corrected me and she said it was Ross that was in the I Hate Rachel Club.
Not...
It was
Okay.
Ross. I apologise.
Karen! Hello.
Hi, Karen.
Karen also has a podcast, the Mummy Soul Sessions, if you guys are into
It is
that.
a progressive liquid dinner. We have been eating as well, though, I promise.
Actually, Carly made the most amazing halloumi and pea fritters for the resident veg.
I even put pine nuts in the salad, guys. That's how you know
It
a
was a
salad's
beautiful
fancy.
tomato and mint salad with pine nuts, and I'm basically going to move in with her
Definitely wasn't the
I can't
worst
feed
thing.
myself.
Ross and the Brad character were both in the Rachel hating club. Yeah, they were. It was a I hate Rachel club together, and Ross was trying to hide it from Rachel.
I feel really sorry for Rachel. I feel as though that totally could have happened to me, and it would have been horrible.
Having an I hate Stacey club.
Oh, yeah.
No, but you weren't Rachel, darling, in high school. That's a whole different thing. She was super popular. I think
definitely not popular.
I think having a I hate a popular person club is different to having a I hate a loser club.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
You don't really want anyone to bring you down if you're already up.
Exactly, but it's kind of like popular person privilege. Like,
yeah,
I hate someone who's perfect. It's like, I'm sorry, but that's just not the problem.
They can't help that they're perfect.
Exactly. It's like, and I don't want to be punished for being well liked. Another really cute thing I wanted to talk about was after Courtney Cox got married to David Arquette, which was the one after Vegas. So it's dedicated to their marriage, and Courtney Cox changed her name to Courtney Cox Arquette, and then everyone in the cast had their names as Arquette. So it was Jennifer Aniston Arquette and Matthew Perry Arquette. It was so cute. I freaking loved it. It was amazing. That was a very cute episode. James Michael Taylor, he was cast as Gunther because he was the only extra who knew how to operate an espresso machine, which is very cool. He was the guy who ran Central Perk.
Yes, and
was in love with Rachel and bought the cat that looked like a hand.
Well, the episode where Ross has had sex with somebody that
Lou's just signed out. Bye, Lou.
Oh, have a good night, love. Thanks for being with us. When he is trying to stop people from telling Rachel that he has slept with somebody else in like the 5 seconds they've been on a break, and Gunther's the one that tells her, and he
totally does it on
and
purpose.
Ross
because
runs in and he's like, "Don't tell Rachel." And he's like, "Why? Was I not supposed to?"
So mean. I hated that. Also, Ellen DeGeneres turned down an offer to play Phoebe. I actually think she could have pulled Phoebe off.
She would have been a very good Phoebe.
Like, I love Lisa Kudrow, massive fan of hers. And if you haven't watched her show that she's had on quite recently, in the name of which I can't remember.
Was it the one where she was a psychologist?
No, it's the one where she's an aging TV star. The fictional show is called This Is It, or I'm It. It's so good. I'll remember what it's called. Someone will remember. Oh my God, we're so bad at details, guys. So bad. So things we need to talk about. I've already talked about a few of them. So I've got a few key people that I need to mention who helped me out with this. One of them was Sarah Kempson, who I mentioned before. She's amazing. She co-hosted Friends Trivia with me. So she asked the Ross and Rachel on a break. We went through that. She also wants to know, how did the people afford to pay for stuff on Friends when they lived in amazing apartments and had really shitty jobs?
It's really expensive to live in New York.
So expensive to live in New York. And you can't live in a beautiful apartment with one other person when you're a chef and the other person works in very, very low level fashion. And then even
Wasn't she like a receptionist or something?
Yeah, and then even in high level fashion, that just really doesn't fly. Also, Simon wanted to know who was Phoebe's best boyfriend, which I think only hardcore friends. There were lots.
Oh, okay.
I can go through them. Should I go through them for the Friends fans?
I thought so.
Sorry, one of our series just tried to...
Seriously said, I thought so.
Just
Should we go through them?
I
thought so.
Nowhere. Siri said yes. Emma Flint just said... It wasn't my Siri. My Siri's here. It was your Siri.
Hey, Siri. She's meant to answer.
That's so weird. So Emma Flint just said the comeback. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. If you could elaborate, that would be amazing. So who's Phoebe's best boyfriend? The boyfriends she has, Jim, who's the creepy guy. People who have seen Friends will know who these people are.
I've had a creepy guy.
Parker, who was the super happy guy. He was played by Alec Baldwin. We've got Jake, who was the guy that never wore underwear, and every time he put his leg up like on a couch, his balls would hang out of his shorts. We had Duncan, the gay ice dancer. Malcolm, who was played by David Arquette, who was actually Ursula's stalker. Now, Ursula is Phoebe's twin sister, who was also a waitress on Mad About You, and it was a crossover character. So I
remember that. I watched Mad About
That was awesome. That was very, very cool. The Comeback Lisa Kudrow show. Emma, you are a genius. It's called The Comeback. It's amazing. Thank you so much, Emma. So Lisa Kudrow's show is called The Comeback, and it is brilliant, and everyone should watch it. It's a fabulous, fabulous show. And thank you, Emma. You have my heart for saying that. So we've got a vote for Paul Rudd from Stacey as...
we love Paul Rudd.
I love Paul Rudd.
He's
definitely my favourite.
This podcast, you'll hear Carly lose her mind about Paul
I
Rudd.
love Paul Rudd. I love him so much. We've also got Eric Ursula's fiance, and he was played by Sean Penn. We've got Roger, and he was the one that everyone loved, but he hated everyone. Ryan, played by Charlie Sheen, who was the sailor, and that's one of the most epic episodes ever, where they contract chickenpox at the same time, and they have to not scratch each other. It's hilarious. I love that episode. It's a classic. We've also got Sergey, who was the diplomat who had the translator that Monica fell in love with. And he was like, "Your eyes are very pretty." It was awesome. That was a very, very good episode. Emma said, "It's so amazing and hilarious. You're very welcome." Thank you, Emma. It's so, so good. I'm so glad that you said that. We've also got Gary, the police officer, who she breaks up with because he shoots the bird. We've also got Rob, who's played by Chris Isaac, and he plays songs for kids at the library. We've got Vince/Jason, who were the fireman/kindergarten teacher, and that was two dudes that she was dating in the same episode and trying to figure out which one she wanted to be with, and ended up being with neither of them. Dave, played by Hank Azaria, who was the scientist guy. He's high on my list.
I love
Hank Azaria. He actually auditioned for Joey twice. And was denied. He's not Joey. He's not Joey. But he's Hank Azaria. I love him. He's incredible.
Simpsons.
But he was great. He's actually really up there. And you know what? I maintain the fact that if Phoebe's husband was not Paul Rudd, my favourite would have been Hank Azaria.
Phoebe got married?
Phoebe married Paul Rudd in Friends. Is this brand new information?
Yeah.
Mike is his name. And then Mike, who she ends up marrying. So my number one is Mike. My number two is David. And then my third is Alec Baldwin, because his character is just fucking Alec Baldwin. Actually, funny, in Team America, when
the best movie,
so good. So the Kim Jong-il character calls Alec Baldwin Eric Baldwin.
Eric Baldwin.
And my brother and I thought that was so funny that I call him Baldwin now.
Oh, your brother?
My brother. My brother is in my phone under Baldwin.
That's so funny.
And when I write him birthday cards, they go, "Hello, Eric Baldwin."
I'm Saron Reed. It's so funny because I lived with my cousins at the time, Nikki and Jess, and we were all single. No, Nikki had a boyfriend, but me and Jess would sit together and go, "I'm Saron Reed."
Do you know the story about Matt Damon in that movie?
Well, they made the puppet and it looked... not quite right.
Yeah.
So it's like, we just make him very slow.
But they were really good friends with Matt Damon, and they asked him first, and they were like, "Yeah, that's totally fine." And
I love that he would take the piss out of himself.
But also, they were filming The Bourne Identity, and they had to stop filming because there were this crowd of people filming around watching Matt Damon film this scene. They were going, "Matt Damon!"
I love how, like, in all of the scene, like, every single person would say something, you know, informational and interesting, and he would just go, Matt Damon. But you know what else is awesome is, have you seen the first South Park movie, South Park Bigger, Longer and Uncut?
Yes.
And you're into theatre. That's actually...
I said, "Come on, girl, let's have sex."
That's musically, that is a brilliant movie.
It is. It's fantastic.
The way they have scored that movie, and they...
Is that the Uncle Fucker?
Yes.
Oh, so
and
good.
Trey Parker and Matt Stone wrote that music. They wrote the fucking music.
So good.
And the lyrics. It's
actually
brilliant.
My mate Simon, who gave me some awesome stuff to talk about in here. He's the one that asked me to ask everyone definitively.
Mum asked me to ask you if I had Brady's first date.
But he wanted everyone to know. He wanted to ask everyone who Phoebe's best boyfriend was. This is my very good friend from high school, Simon. And I actually watched that movie. I'm pretty sure I watched it with him. But our whole high school, everything that we ever said in high school was quotes from the first South Park movie. Just
such a good movie.
I love it. Is that Chocolate Salted Balls? Is that in there as well?
He was in the TV show.
Oh, okay.
And he was actually on an Australian...
Oh, my mate Soren just joined. Hi, Soren.
He was what's his name? I'm
I'm
really good at stuff. But he was on an Australian cooking show like Gabriel Gatte or somebody else. And he cooked chocolate salty balls.
Yes.
And I made them from that recipe. And they were just like chocolate balls with salt on the outside. I was like...
We've also got some interesting stuff from my mate Megan, who is an absolute genius. She's like friends. Harding, I've written here. Sorry for saying Hardy before. Look, I don't read things properly out loud ever. So she was the one that came to our friends' trivia night, and she actually brought up something really interesting. She has a lot of problems with the way that she's a Next Level Friends fan here.
Yeah.
And she's uncomfortable with the way that the apartments are set out because they don't match the outside of the building. So if the apartments looked the way they did on the inside, they couldn't possibly, the building couldn't look the way it does on the outside.
No.
And I've got a link to send to you guys to the show notes, but she's dead right. She also hates that the toilet moved in Joey and Chandler's apartment. She noticed that. And also she came to our trivia night and we got the wrong order of when Phoebe had her babies, and so we asked what order they were born in.
Stacey.
Like, what order were the babies born in? And then we got it wrong, and I just have this incredible memory of her standing up and pointing at me and going, Frank Jr. Jr. Frank Jr. Jr. at me in this trivia. So she's terrifying when it comes to Friends. So if there's anything you ever want to know, she's a dead set genius. She also brought up the very good point about Rachel's sisters, like how many sisters Rachel had. And definitively there's two, Jill and Amy. They are played by Christina Applegate and Reese Witherspoon. And one of them has a masculine energy. It's mentioned in one of the shows, but we can't figure out which one because Christina Applegate and Reese Witherspoon are arguably the most feminine actresses of their time. So who the hell knows?
Yeah.
We've also got a question from Emma. Great subject, girls. My all-time favourite show. Wish I could stick around for longer. Stay classy. Bye. Thanks, Emma. You're lovely.
Stay classy, San Diego.
And yeah, that's pretty much all of the stuff that we wanted to cover in the Friends podcast. It's been so awesome chatting to you guys because you all had such amazing things to say. And if you do have a favourite episode that you would like to talk about, please tag us on Twitter.
Yeah, don't mind me. Who cares that I don't know anything?
Yeah, like
Carly will chat.
Stacey covered everything in the music one, which was great because I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. We've got another comment from Soren. Just popped my head in. It's great to see you live. Oh, thanks, Soren. It's nice to see you. Yeah, so if you have anything that you want to chat about with Friends, we go very, very, well, I go very, very deep into the Friends rabbit hole, and it's definitely probably, I think, my favourite show of all time still, because I watched it so prolifically, and
I wonder what mine would be.
I know probably so many, and I mean,
would be a toss-up. Oh, it's hard. I've probably got 4, and it's like Roseanne, Gilmore Girls, X-Files, and Seinfeld. Like, it'd be one of those 4. I just don't know if I could pop one at the top. Probably Roseanne.
Roseanne, are you really that into Roseanne?
I fucking love that show.
I really loved it, but I wasn't, like, super crazy into it. But, yeah, it's,
It taught me so much about life and about women and about comedy.
I also just, I love John Goodman. I love him so much.
Good,
I have a secret sex crush on John Goodman. I think he's really hot. I know that's wrong on so many levels.
I know
but
what you
he's
mean.
Just like super sexy.
I know
and
what
he's
you
cheeky.
mean.
Like he's cheeky. I'm just like, just love him. It's creepy and weird.
I'm enjoying John Goodman.
Anyway, on that weird note, oh hang on, we've got another question from Karen. Where did Joey and Chandler's toilet move to? I remember it behind the kitchen.
Behind the kitchen? Oh,
yeah, it was behind the kitchen, but
then
apparently
it was like back near their bedroom.
With the bathroom scenes, they changed. So there was, I don't know all the full details about this, but I'm sure I will tag Megan in this episode. And if Karen, you'd like to find her on Twitter and fight with her about this, that'd be amazing. You will lose though, because Megan knows everything.
Fun,
yeah.
If you watch the
Megan knows everything. So I will find out more information about this, but yeah, it did move.
Can we also canvass our listeners at the moment? What do you want our next 4 episodes to be? What would be your 90s dream that we would cover? Mine would be Roseanne. I'm actually watching Degrassi at the moment, so we're going to do a Degrassi episode very
I'm
soon.
so excited about doing Degrassi. I'm just dead set. I'm frothing. I'm so
Yeah,
happy.
no, I'm super excited about it.
Also, I'd love to know from people who mainly listen to the podcast, particularly people who have found us through the podcast.
Through the podcast and not through our blogs or our Facebook pages. Or
If you're enjoying listening to the live recordings, please let us know.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not loving them as much as the format we had before, let us know. We love doing them live, so we will still do those occasionally. But if everyone's unanimous that you love the live ones, we'll do all of them live because we love them live. But if you like them mixing, if you like us mixing them up, we'll mix them up. We just love to hear the feedback. Thank you guys so much. It was lovely chatting to you about Friends. I'm the most excited person in the world right now.
And thanks all of y'all who knows more about Friends than I do, that has had my back through all of this episode, because yeah, I had no clue.
And if you want to chat to us more about this episode, you can get me at Smaggle and Stacey at Vegemama. And we'd love for you to leave us a review or a rating on iTunes because that helps more people find us. And we're loving so much hearing all the feedback from people. Like, we were getting so teary. We were earlier.
It was pretty cool.
We're looking at all the reviews and we're just like, oh my God, it's so nice. And
it's just so nice that people get it.
It is,
like,
yeah.
We enjoy it. But it's so nice to know that other people understand what we're here for and what we're about and that they enjoy it. It makes my day.
We really love it. Thank you guys so much, and we'll chat to you next week. Cool. Oh, hang on. We've got some more people on here. So Roseanne is so good. Have you done anything Ghostbusters with the new one coming out? Was that 90s? I think Ghostbusters
was 80s.
Oh, was it?
It was 80s, but I would love to talk about it because I'm actually really frothing that now that I've come around to the idea that all of the Ghostbusters are chicks, I think that's actually
Oh,
really
I'm so
amazing.
excited. And I love Melissa McCarthy.
Oh, me too.
She's just like, she's my spirit animal. And we've got Jasmine. I love the live episode much better than watching anything else whilst I'm doing work. Thanks, Jasmine.
That's awesome.
I know that people who watch the live love the live, but we're just hoping that it translates well in
podcast territory. I think we've done 3 podcasts that were live streamed.
Yeah, but unfortunately we live streamed them and didn't record them effectively, so there was shit sound quality as well. But
there was shit sound quality, but meh.
Yeah, we'll see how we go. But yeah, it was lovely chatting to you guys. Thank you so much for coming to the party. And it's a Saturday night. You guys rock. This is incredible. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Okay.